So what is the biggest addiction that we as a civilization have right now, or at least our neck of the world?
Well, it's especially the case in America, and that's a clue for you. It turns out that we don't need drugs in order to excite the little centers in the brain, the attachment points for molecules that give us the pleasures that one gets from addictive drugs. And I already spoke of how you can do it. You can get these receptors activated in your own brain through certain mental states, being in love, for example, or doing something really skilled, or loving music, getting into the groove, and of course loving your children. Well, there are other ways of doing it purely mentally, and we know of some. Rage is another one. There are listeners right now who are probably fellows who are dealing with that and trying to get their anger under control. But by far the most powerful and by far the most abused in America, that's doing our nation the worst harm, is self-righteous indignation. And what's more is, a large number of you out there know darn well what I'm talking about. If you're not an individual...
David, define that for us. Define that in the way so that we don't get the thought through osmosis, but we just get some nuts and bolts here to play with.
Absolutely. When you are self-righteous, when you're sanctimonious, you get the thrill and the pleasure of looking in a mirror and saying, I am so right, and my opponents are so wrong. And it's something that we all engage in because it's really pleasurable. Because this is how we get riled up. This is how our ancestors got riled up, to sharpen those spears and go after the guys in the next valley. And it was really useful during combat, even in our parents' generation. Even now, those of us who we thank you for your service, who are in the military. But since World War II, what's happened is that the American military has tried very hard to gain control over the emotions and how to teach the soldiers, airmen, sailors, how to be professionals and to be skilled and to be somewhat detached from the process. And that not only helps them to do their job better, but it also helps them not to commit crimes. But the thing is, you see, we civilians aren't taught this degree of self-control. We grow up encouraged by our movies and encouraged by popular culture to get enraged easily. And you all know what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about American politics right now, where there's what's called the outrage industry. And sure, it may be a little stronger on one side of the political spectrum than the other, maybe even twice as strong, or maybe even 10 times as strong. But we all know that it's being milked at both ends of this horrible, stupid left-right, so-called left-right political axis that not one of your listeners could actually define if their life depended on it. But we should get rid of the darn thing because it reduces complex problems to a simple line. The business about self-righteous indignation, if you're constantly returning to this sense of pleasure that you get from being so right, my side is so right, and my opponents are so universally 100% wrong, there is a real chance that you're a junkie. I'm not saying that your side isn't right. It may be that your side is right about this issue, and the other side is wrong about this issue. It may be that in some other issue, your side is 80% right, and the other side might have only 20% to contribute to the conversation. But the thing is that we're not having conversation. Negotiation is dead. This is not what Barry Goldwater, the way he did politics 30 years ago. It's not the way Eisenhower. It's not the way Teddy Roosevelt. This is not. Oh, sure, yeah. The Americans have always gone through phases of being sanctimonious jerks and self-righteous, but we can't really afford that right now. We got problems to solve, and many of them could easily be solved if we just talk to each other. But there's a whole industry out there that doesn't want us to do this. People don't want to hear something new. They want to hear reasons to believe, reasons to hate. And those radio stations cater to that.